Hey y'all, welcome to part two of my two-part expose on Venus in retrograde. If you missed part one, then you've missed the whole explanation of Venus retrograde and how not to burn everything to the ground, so kindly rewind and go check that one out. If you didn't miss part one, you're in the right place. We're here to talk about a few other important things going on at the same time that either overlap or happen entirely within the Venus retrograde, and which will probably have some effect on the moves we make over the next several weeks. First of all, Chiron has been in retrograde in Aries since July, and it too has stationed to go direct on the same day on Sunday, a few hours after Venus goes retrograde. This retrograde period has turned us within to work on the healing of our psyche, our hearts and minds. And since Chiron has been in Aries this whole time, the healing we've been doing has a lot to do with our personal identities and our sense of belonging in the human collective. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what changes have I undergone in the last 5 months in terms of how I view myself and my place in the larger scheme of things? This Sunday, as Chiron goes direct, we begin to bring these insights out as expressions in our outer lives. That is to say that our evolved sense of personal identity and belonging is ready to make its debut in our social, civic, and work spheres. This change may already be apparent to the people in our homes and workspaces, even in cases where the two don't overlap. But the turning outward of this identity shift isn't just for show. It is for the sake of strengthening our bonds with those around us and out in the world. How does this apply to Venus retrograde, you might ask? It is very auspicious timing to have Chiron and Aries go direct at this time, as it has the potential to bring a new and different kind of resolve to our handling of certain situations. Here are a few examples in the form of questions. What kind of attention am I now interested in receiving, as opposed to the kind of attention I thought I wanted before? Under what circumstances and to whom do I prefer to give my loving support? And what kind of loving exchanges are likely to feel most satisfying and fulfilling to me? Also, financially speaking, what forms of receiving work best for me, and what am I willing to pay for, and what do I need in order to be content? Like it or not, our money habits are closely tied to our feelings, specifically our need to feel comfortable and satisfied. Chiron will be in Aries until 2027. And the next Chiron retrograde will come up next July in 2022, lasting again through December. So I would anticipate these themes of personal identity and belonging to keep bringing us through changes as we become more and more refined versions of ourselves over the next several years. In addition to Chiron retrograde, we continue to be feeling the effects of this Venus conjunct Pluto aspect, which began on December 8th while Venus was direct and will only leave us on December 29th after Venus has gone retrograde. If you watch the daily aspects, you know we've already given this conjunct some time. Venus in aspect with Pluto shows us the extremes of what we will do and give to receive, as well as what it takes for us to be satisfied. Conjunct energy amplifies both the extremes and the give and take. So, during this time, we are all likely to be much more desiring and much more attractive in our own ways and according to what we like, love, and always want more of. There is a potential in this intensified state to lean into manipulative behaviors that have worked for us in the past to get what we want. And we have to be careful here because we are called on at this time to give and receive without ulterior motives or unreasonable conditions. Any attempt we make to manage things to our benefit at another's expense is likely to backfire on us and cause conflict. And again, if you can't come to your most valued relationships at this time with an unfettered heart, ready to give without expectations, then this is the time to turn within and shower yourself with love and positive attention. Take the time to grow your own capacity to give and receive by practicing giving to and receiving from yourself. And there is yet one more aspect I want to discuss with you in relationship to the Venus retrograde. Saturn square Uranus crops up next Thursday on December 23rd, and it will be in effect for at least 2 weeks, falling completely within the first half of the Venus retrograde. Recall recently that we went through a Saturn sextile aspect with Chiron where we focused on what wisdom we've gained from healing so that we could apply that learning to strengthen the bonds in our supportive groups and relationships. Now, when Saturn makes aspect with Uranus, this is a matter of the universe really asking us to do something different with the groups and structures we rely on for support. It would be unusual, for example, to look at your home's foundations and say, I think we can make a few changes here. This is energetically what is being asked of us, and the square energy of this aspect indicates we will meet some challenges. I may wind up doing a whole episode on Saturn square Uranus, but for now, I just want to address how this theme of change in regards to our supportive structure applies to Venus retrograde. When it comes to Venus retrograde, again, we're talking about our love and finance habits under review, and remembering that this is a time to assess our approach and make plans, but not to commit at this time to any permanent course of action. Saturn square Uranus brings in a theme of rebellion against the status quo. The desire to make changes in our relationships, our families, and our other cohorts is going to run up against the apparent necessity of keeping things the way they always have been so that everyone knows what to expect. Of course, change is inevitable. A lot of it will happen just by our waiting to see what comes up. But despite what may feel like a strong urge at this time to force changes, for example, by having difficult conversations or making ultimatums, it is important to remain dedicated to self-review and make no firm commitments to end or begin something in our foundational bonds until after the retrograde. Which brings me to the good news. Venus retrograde comes to an end just 2 days before lunar imbolc. Oh, we'll put it down here. Imbolc. Lunar imbolc will be a new moon in Aquarius, and in the days that Venus appears to be stationary before it goes direct, Mercury and Mars will also both enter Capricorn, lending extra initiative and intelligence to our return to the land of the loving. And I just want to illustrate this for you. Mars is going to enter Capricorn, and Mercury is going to enter Capricorn. And where has Venus been hanging out? Capricorn. All right, so seriously, Venus has been in retrograde in Capricorn and is just about to go direct in Capricorn at, around the 23rd of the month, the 25th of the month. And these two planets are going to come into Capricorn behind Venus, and I see it like kind of a shove, like an assist from your friends, like, come on, let's get the heck out of here. We gotta go. We gotta do something different. Imbolc is the midpoint holiday between winter solstice and spring equinox, when we first begin to notice the longer days. Things gradually begin to get brighter and warmer from here, signaling a bright and shining sort of go for it to anything new we'd like to take on at that time. And we're talking about 12/29 through probably February 5. And that's my report on the upcoming Venus retrograde. If you made it this far, hey, thanks. Click me a like button and subscribe to the old girl, would ya? Leave any questions or comments in the section below, and I will happily respond to them as soon as I see them. Also, check back here every day to see your daily aspects. It's a sort of astrological weather forecast that I release on the daily. My name is Melanie Rose. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next video.